You're live.
All right.
Are we live?
Yes, sir.
Are we live? Yay!
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, what was that? Is this thing on?
Need more cowbell.
Hey, y'all. Duane Powell here. Got an esteemed panel of guests here for this edition of the Chicago Black Social Culture Map. We're an organization where we are working hard at trying to document every aspect of Chicago's Black social culture from the blues era to now, really, with a strong emphasis on the house scene, but not limited to. And we've been documenting for the past few years. We've been at it from every aspect of it, from pioneers of movements, DJs and promoters and venues and so on and so forth. But the one thing that, connects a lot of that is music. Well, music is the focus mainly. And where do you get your music, right? The record store. And the record store has played such an integral part in our culture, and we never really think about it. Just like the barbershops, it's a meeting ground. It's a thing. It's a space that really does so much more than just sell records. And I have 3 people here with me that can attest to that, who has been in the record store business either for a short stint or for quite a long stint, but long enough to know its impact. So I want to bring them into the conversation. I have with me multi-instrumentalist singer who's done amazing work. Last year, she had a great year, her debut album. But before she took off with that, she was working at Hyde Park Records. That is Miss Angel Bat Dawid.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
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 And then there's my boy, Mr. Ray King. Oh my God, this dude, we're gonna need to bring him back for a couple because he is so connected history-wise with so many things in Black social culture, from record stores to record pools to being the DJ for the hip hop collective Dim There to one of the founder members of the DJ collective, the Ghetto DJs, to so many things. He connects the dots in Chicago and he holds it down on the West Side. I worked with him at Dr. Wax, but he also worked for years on the West Side, holding it down at George's Music Room. I want to say hello to my boy DJ X-Ray, Ray King.
How y'all doing?
And last but certainly not least, my good friend, who started out working and end up being the owner of one of Chicago's institutions in the music and the record store game, holding it down for house culture, holding it down for electronic music. But he's done so much more. I want to bring in Mr. Michael Serafini.
Thank you, Duane. Hello, everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
So we've been goofing around for the past half hour. So I'm like, how do we fuck this?
We're all friends now.
But yeah, so we want to just get into a conversation about, so many things that, I have so many from my personal history of working at Dr. Wax for 12 years and being in distribution before that. I think about even just the friendships that I created just based around the record store, So let me start off by asking your individual journeys of where it began for you in record stores, even before working there. What was your first kind of connection to a record store? Anybody want to take that first?
I can. It was my dad. Like, my dad lived at the record store. Like, that was like our weekend thing. It was like the video store and record store. So I was always in a record store because my dad was a music head. And so he would always have records, and we would listen to music as a family. I think that's just something like cultural in most Black households, and we would listen to everything. And, you know, my dad's in his 60s, so, you know, it was the music of his time period. That's all that he would listen to, you know? And so I was exposed, and it seemed like back then, it was kind of more like everybody listened to everything. You weren't just listening to funk, you was listening to Led Zeppelin and so my dad had like everything, you know, and he's still obsessed with it.
So with that, so that's how you began to have your knowledge to be able to even work at a record store?
Yeah, because I always valued records. I wasn't a record head until I started working at the record store. I knew I always wanted a record collection, but I only had like a shallow knowledge of records. But when you work there and then you start becoming a record buyer and you can listen to music all day, like it was like a university for me. It was a university, you know, I went to music school and everything, but that record store knowledge, you're not going to get anywhere but in a record store. Learning all the genres, all the cleaning you have to do, all the organizing. We're almost like archivists, you know. I know they want to call it a record store, but it's more like we're like cultural archivists, you know, like carrying tradition. And like you just said about like so many different people coming in there. You got the hip hop heads, you got the house heads, techno, you got the jazz heads, the soul, and you've got the everyday people who you see on the block. You know, the everyday people who shop at the record store like it's a grocery store. They're still shopping amongst COVID, trust, because they need it. I saw the addiction, just like somebody come in, I'd be like, "You're addicted." you know the addicts. You see their eyes get all watery and glassy. Their hearts pumping. They go to the new arrivals.
Well, we
they
all
hit that new arrivals.
Trust me,
I'm obsessed with the new arrivals.
I'm thinking of the time that I met Michael Serafini. When I was I would take my whole income tax check. This is what I'm working at McDonald's. And
oh my God,
man, and I would hit. So for people who don't live in Chicago used to have, especially Clark Street back in the day, was this corridor of nothing but just like great record stores. So I would start off at the original Dr. Wax down on Clark, and then work my way down to Hi-Fi Records and Secondhand Tunes. And what was the name of the record store that was next to Clark Street? Not next to the hot dog stand. I can't remember.
Hi-Fi.
no,
It was Hi-Fi.
no, it was something video, because it was a video place, and then it was a record store, and then a video store.
Yeah, because I used to get my bootleg TV.
And then they moved up to Belmont.
Right.
Oh,
make my way there.
At those Soul Train VHS.
Yes. And Video Beat, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And then go down further down Broadway to Broadway Records, which is on Broadway, and then Reckless Records, and then walk over to Record Exchange. You could really just spend your whole day.
There's your whole income tax right there. That's it.
In life.
It's done.
And of course, you would end up at Tower Records.
Oh yeah, Tower
for the midnight sale.
Ah.
So yeah, I met Michael. Michael, from my understanding though, before at Gramophone, you were actually a music buyer at Best Buy, correct?
Yeah, North Avenue and Sheffield. I worked in the music department there as one of the supervisors, and we used to order music. This was pre when everything was centralized at Best Buy. We used to actually buy Japanese imports and everything specifically for our location. In at least 2 years out of, I think, 4, we matched Tower Records New York City sales just in that location alone. But as time went on, you know, this was when Best Buy first started, and or came to Chicago, and that was more of a promotion. They made their money selling refrigerators and you know, pay, you know, insurance plans, not on CDs and records. So little by little, they changed that to where we didn't have any say in the buying, and I was part-time at Gramophone, and that's when I kind of went full-time there. to be the manager of the back room shipping and the receiving. It was a complete joke. Not one person would listen to me about anything.
So for those of you watching who's not familiar, Gramophone is an institution in Chicago, one of these spaces alongside, I would say, Import, etc., that was really super important and to this day in the cultivation of dance music culture in Chicago. And it's still going strong thanks to Michael Serafini, no longer being an employee, but owner of the space.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
18 years.
Yeah. So Gramophone came into Chicago in the 60s, late 60s,
1969.
69.
The year I was born. And when I tell people I own the store, they just look at me with a puzzling look, like 1969 and you own the store. It's like, no, I didn't own it in 1969. But I've been around a while.
And they're not thinking you could have inherited. It could have been your parents. So
True.
You know. And then, like I said,
the gray throws them off. They're not sure to believe that it could be or not. So.
You know, then I want to bring in Ray, because Ray was just telling us some things before the broadcast, and I'm like, hold it, save it.
I came from a lounge background. My godfather used to play at the Banner Lounge over right across the street from Henry Horner Projects, 1802 West Lake. And he used to take me downtown with him to Big Daddy's, Roses, Peaches, and Downtown Records. So, of course, you know, I'm seeing all these, you know, records that I like that's barely being bought. He's buying all the funk and blues, and funk was kind of, you know, was getting kind of new wavy, but he wasn't buying the new wave records. It's the stuff that I'm into as a kid. So the Banner closed in '85, and that's when I got serious about DJing because, you know, wasn't the best student, you know, athletic and all. That wasn't me. So, you know, dove into music then. So I think it was my brother-in-law's people that put me on to Gramophone. No, they put me on to WNUR.
Oh, damn.
1980. So I'm listening, I'm hearing the best records, and they keep saying Gramophone, you got to go to Gramophone to get them. So I was going to neighborhood shops, but they wasn't servicing me. I had kind of a weird taste. You know, they getting the regular R&B records and the rap records that were starting to come out in the golden era. And they were kind of pricey compared to what I'm keep hearing these other stores on the north side and downtown has. So 86, we go down to imports, you know, so I'm down shopping with the big boys, you know, and the grown men and the big teenagers I see in the neighborhood at the block parties. So I'm the little guy up in there, you know, looking for whatever I could find and I could afford at the time. And I'm working off a $5 allowance. So and I was hustling video games that I think I would win over the weekend at my school, and then come Monday I got a free sandwich. So that's $5 I can keep. So I turn that 5 into 10. You know, so I'm gonna go give me a couple 12 inches or an LP. So I was buying both house, dance, and hip hop and breaks whenever I can find the originals to the rap records I was buying. So I'm buying, like, you know, 4 records at a time if I want to cover the basis. So that was loop and imports going down there about 86. So I think I made my trek to Gramophone in 87.
When those records cost $3.99.
Wow.
So I'm with the stamps on them, you know. So making it up there, you know, I find all this gold, you know, secondhand tunes. Didn't go to Dr. Wax too much. I would pass up because I got to get the secondhand, I got to get the Gramophone, I got to get the record exchange, you know, and then they had chains. They had more of them. So I had to go to the one in Oak Park. I had to go to the one in Milwaukee, you know. So I hit all. If it said records on the front, I was there for it.
Yeah.
There
And because of that, we would, because of record store culture is how another way that we broke through like segregation lines and so
Very true.
insular and so confined because again, because Secondhand Tunes and Dr. Wax had, a chain where they would have a store in Evanston, they would have a store in Oak Park and just these different sides of town, you would find yourself traveling for this music. I would have never really gone to the West Side had I not been trying to go to Out of the Past. But Ray, when did you? So your time at George's, when did that begin?
1995, I believe.
Okay.
It was like spring of '95, and at that time, record sales were up no matter where you were at. Even on the street, the bootleggers were getting up because we was, we'll get into that. But yeah, the mixtape era, the color tape era, and the CDs, we fed the streets as DJs, and we fed the stores as well.
Yeah.
But in 1995, it was an artist coming in that's either legendary or moguls or whatever. At this time, they were coming in on the regular. The R. Kellys, the Jay-Z's, the Goody Mobs, you name it, they were coming in. I gotta go see George. How you doing? I just sold 3 boxes of your records. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
But,
so we're gonna go ahead and show some interesting pictures and footage that some of you guys have shared pulled for us to see. I don't know who's first, but my tech person is going to put something on the screen. Oh, this is for Angel.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, she got records there. Hey.
Is that your personal?
Well, that was I did a thing for Vinyl Factory. They asked me to do a thing on my collection, so that was just a picture from that.
Okay.
Carlo, we have the Celestial Winter Planetary Ball coming up, and Carlo is going to be vending his specialty items there. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, Carlo?
Special stuff for you guys. Very inexpensive. Not cheap, but expensive. More not so much how much I get, but how much you get.
That's right.
For a little or nothing.
Come on now. You ain't going to be getting these items from anywhere.
Los with the overdose. Come on. The merchandise.
Hey. Be there.
That dude is a Hyde Park.
Y'all, he's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Carlo is
a record store legend.
I know he was at Dr. Wax selling whatever.
Oh, yes.
That's the reason. Okay, so I have this event, and y'all see the next clip. It'll kind of make more sense if you see the next clip, actually.
All we really want to do is get our party on.
Let's get crackin'.
Oh, roll over, baby. I can tell us a kill the groove.
Let's get crackin'.
Y'all roll over.
So I submitted these are just some promos I had on my Instagram because I curate a series at Elastic Arts. It's so interesting that y'all reached out to me about like culture. And so I was curating this series where I wanted to put together different kind of themed nights. And so this night, this was this year, MLK weekend. And I was like, I want to do something that honors the DJs because DJs, y'all are so important to the community. DJs bring people together. You know what I mean? Like y'all just help, like y'all get the energy going and stuff like that. And from working in the record store, I would meet so many DJs who and then for the show I had Sean Dervis and J2, who I'm sure y'all know. But, you know, them dudes would be in the record store like every week digging, you know, like doing the work. So it's not like they just up there just throwing something on the table. You know, they actually are crafting something so wonderful. And so this was my event to kind of highlight that. I had them come, and it was a cold day. So I wanted people to come out. I was like, let's just dance and have a kickback. And then I invited Carlo because people understand that there's this subculture of like the record store isn't just records that come through there. It's everything. It's books. It's weird shit. I mean, Carlo he sold me jewelry to deodorant. You know what I mean? And you would see him every week, and we became good friends. And so, like, working at the record store, I have all sorts of different types of friends, and people don't know who I'm friends with just from being at the record store. So it's definitely like a very, very, very important piece to the fabric of a city, a place where people can go get music. You know, and I'm very concerned with the world today because we don't have as much of that anymore. You know. So it's very disconcerting, yeah.
So Jody, can you show some of those? Yeah. So I pulled some of these for you, Angel.
Yes, you get to meet some of these celebrities.
Yeah. So that is Norman Connors and Michael Henderson.
Yes.
That was at Hyde Park Records.
I didn't know Michael Henderson was so tall. He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
I was like, okay. You still got the Speedo, bro?
That was Phil Koran performance there. You know, he's the guy
Rest in power.
Yeah, DJ Spinner.
Yay!
That was Selena Johnson. Yeah,
Selena Johnson. Yep.
The Voice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good times.
Let's see what Michael Serafini has shared with us.
Uh-oh. Well, somebody help me out, I'm sure.
Oh, Michael. So I was flabbergasted when I saw this picture. That is me. That's me at Gramophone.
Yeah, the original location.
I had to look hard. I was like, wait a minute, that's me. I remember the coat.
Uh-huh.
That's you, Duane.
That's me and DJ
Look at
Rush.
the buttons on those sleeves. You were styling even back then.
And
so I think this was James. That's 326. Wasn't that the boiler room?
This was the boiler room at the new location, the current location. Yeah. That's Hyperactive and Jamie 326.
And there's Mr. Robert Williams and Mike Dunn.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
That was a crazy day. We had to stop letting.
Yeah, I missed it. I had a gig or something that day.
People were dancing everywhere. Oh my god!
It looks like so much fun.
Oh, they were using the bathroom for partying.
Oh wow! That was what Ryan Carroll, Andre Hackett,
Oliver,
Wally in the background.
Oh, and that's Ron's ex behind him, and I don't know who that is next to me.
Farley looking up. Farley
looked Farley before he colored his hair.
Right.
Oh wow! Wow! Look at all this history.
So that is a picture of, what is this one from the 70s, right?
That's from the 70s with the staff before the regular guys started working there, before it stocked electronic.
I see. Look at the Diana Ross and the Leroy Hudson albums, brand new, on the wall.
On the wall.
Wow, and Johnny Taylor.
Yeah, that's when they did R&B, soul, rock. That's when Gramophone had a rock label that they put one record out, actually.
See Harold Melvin.
Ron Carroll again in the DJ booth.
I know. We got to look at Ron again. Wow, that's when we just moved into that space, too.
This should be real minimal.
Oh, I pulled that one. That's LL Cool J coming out of.
Oh wow, sick.
But I was drawn by that picture because I was looking at just the people outside, the kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The community.
Mm-hmm. Anybody showed up for one of those, it would be massive. It had to shut down from Independence to Pulaski.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
All
yeah.
the way down.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
So
Mix your own stars.
quintessential, and then come to find out, of course, it's not the original like we thought, but the
That is
quintessential record,
dope.
a bridging record.
Yep.
So cool.
And playing your acapellas over.
And the lessons. If that record goes for like
Boy.
$150,
Dang.
very hard to find.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget I have history. Wait, it's Dr. Wax.
Remember that
It's
picture?
Dr. Wax.
Remember that
Yeah, what a
place.
place.
Oh Lord, Kim.
Yo.
That's when he was not signed to Motown yet. He was just starting out.
Wow.
Dr. Wax was always his incubator store of starting out indie soul artists, and Kim was just starting out. He was an independent artist at the time.
Wow.
And I think Love Calls had just started getting some play.
Mm.
And yeah.
Great one. Is he from Chicago?
No, he's from Detroit. So
Okay.
Dr. Wax was his first in-store.
Oh, wow.
Man,
Trying to
Get
some,
out of
trying to-
here.
Yeah,
I
trying
think
to
he's
get
got an apartment somewhere here because there was a lot of Grammy events, and he was always there. Like he would come from
Yeah, he was.
He the man. I
down-
love me some Kim.
Yeah, he really, yeah. Chicago was really one of his first stomping grounds of trying to get out. Oh man, so yeah, that is the incomparable Mr. Leon Ware.
Oh, wow. And is that Charles?
That's Charles,
Charles.
who
Yeah.
I wanted to be on this panel so bad because that is
I
Mr.
know. I
Record.
miss him.
But Leon Ware, of course, you know,
Leon
the guy that
Ware.
wrote-
Wow.
So that was Roy Ayers,
Nice.
Charles and Randy,
Yeah.
Dr. Wax Years.
Yes, Mud Coat.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was-
Hyde Park
what was
Records.
going
That
on?
was fun. That was fun. The soul reunion parties.
Oh, is that what that was?
okay.
Yeah, but Hyde Park Records. They would have this, that's what they would do for Record Store Day. We wouldn't do Record Store Day. We would just do like a big old party.
Nice.
And then people come, like Ruby Andrews would come out, like all the soul folks. They would come out and they would get like really wasted. And we would have it was like the funnest day of work ever to be like kick back with Ruby Andrews and Holly D. Maxwell
Oh, wow.
going like just sitting up in the store, drinking all day, playing records. It was fun.
So yeah, I remember that one. That was when the promo for Roy Ayers, he was going to be there.
Yes. Yep. I met him.
Promo for Melba Moore and Michael Henderson.
Wow.
Wow. Michael Henderson.
Promo for Michael
Yes.
Henderson, Gene Carn. And
Yep.
Norman Conn.
And Gene Carn, Norman Connors. Yep. They came through.
Okay, so with all
The
of that,
history.
some of those photos I pulled because I wanted to be able to show how those kind of events and how these record stores, because Gramophone, Michael, you've been doing a lot because you've been even still now doing like Twitch events, correct?
Yes, we do live streams at the shop. Yes.
Yeah, but you know, just in the sense that first of all, we all know each other and we all become friends because of record stores.
Right.
Um,
Where was it? It wasn't Groove. What was it when you worked there?
I was first at Cargo.
Cargo. That's it.
Yeah. I was the import dance music and import music buyer at Cargo.
I remember me and Oscar used to bug the hell out of you there.
I remember
Yeah.
trying to get those.
Duane, do you have a promo?
classic-
And that was all because of Charles Williams, who I wanted to be on this panel. Every gig, I mean, I worked in the industry because of Charles Williams. He got me that gig. He got me a Dr. Wax. And yeah. But with that, so want to really get into this conversation a bit about that, you know, that the record store being this safe space for everything. And being that space where, first of all, you guys had to have some sort of, again, when you talked about Best Buy and how they end up just kind of watering down and just their music section just to be the cookie cutter, whatever.
Right.
And those are the things that separated a Gramophone, a Dr. Wax, Hyde Park Records and stuff like that from these record stores is that you had a staff of people who was knowledgeable about these particular things, and people really came to you for these things. And a lot of times these people come to you not knowing what they want until you gave it to them.
Right. Sometimes not even listening to the music, just saying, pull me 15 records that you know I'm gonna like, that you think are good, and you know exactly what to pull for them.
And not to mention, Gramophone birthed so many DJs. So many DJs worked there.
Yeah.
That have gone on to be superstars. Derek Carter, Rafa Rosario, Colette,
Sneak, Colette,
yeah,
Jay Heather, Miles Maeda, Mark Farina. God, yeah.
Yeah, Theo Parrish.
Oh yeah, right.
Theo Parrish, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's a tradition that we still carry there, is by, almost everybody who works there DJs or throws parties or is involved in the scene in some way.
Mhm.
Was that
Yes,
ever
definitely.
intentional?
What's that?
Was that ever intentional?
Well, intentional on my part. I mean, I can't speak for Joe, but I think for Joe and Andy, when they were bringing people in, they wanted people that were, that were part of the culture and the scene of what was going on, not just, a music nerd who, lived in their bedroom and went to the record store, so and that brought people in, that brought business in, because people came to see these guys who were artists or DJs because of their, of their, I'm trying to think of the word, of the, their taste and how they would pull things. How many people would come and see Oscar, because Oscar had such great taste in music, and they knew coming to see him, or it started as from even how Imports was, where people would DJ at the club, and then you'd go to the store and you'd go find what they were playing at the club, and it just was a circle of, feeding that nightclub culture into the record culture, back and forth between, that it definitely, it was a natural thing, I guess you could say, in a way.
Okay, something is going on. Happen. Okay, something was going on my screen.
So intentional on my part, for the most part. Not every single person does that, but I wanted to continue and keep something like that, where we curated artists to have a platform for themselves, whether they DJ'd or made music, and also to have their input into the store. If they, I felt that they should do that.
Because man, me and Ray boy, when we were at Dr. Wax, man. First of all, people swore up and down that High Fidelity was made because of that store, because we were viewed as snobs.
Yeah.
Because of what we didn't, and that's kind of become synonymous with those kind of stores.
Before I got in there, of course, it was like that. You go out there to Hyde Park, they might talk to you. I don't know. I even said that when in my midway interview. This one may talk to you. This one may not. But they were reviewed as snobs, like especially in Hyde Park. The other guys, once I got there, it's like, they working. They're working there. They trying to find something new for you.
Well, Charles, I think that was all Charles, because I couldn't stand Charles before he got me kicked.
Man, I remember Charles
his stuff though. I met Charles working at Hyde Park Records because he'd be in the store all the time getting records.
I think to answer your question a little bit more too, Duane, is that a lot of the employees were DJs and artists, because the music that was being carried at the shop was not your typical music that you could just find at any record store. And those it was coming from black clubs and
Sorry
gay
about that. That was
clubs.
a call coming through.
And you couldn't just go into any store and ask for this music. You needed to go. So these DJs and artists had to work at those stores because, you know, like I can remember going to the Generator and hearing Tyrone Mix play something, and then going to the Imports or going to Gramophone before I was owning it and working there and asking for the music that I was hearing. And that kind of is why you had to have those people, because the music and the culture were their own and separate from mainstream. So, you know.
And so would you agree with that, with you having, you know, this music that was being pumped from all various forms of the social culture, from, you know, the gay nightlife to the hip hop to this and the other? You know, that to me is what I'm the ultimate in building community. And you know what, you know, the word will be used as intersectionality, you know, where all these types of people converge. I mean, we used to, man, especially in Hyde Park, we used to have, I mean, some people that we thought were pretty off.
Oh yeah,
weird, and you know,
Try
and
Edgewater.
oh yeah, because
Try
I forgot
up there in Edgewater. We saw some of everything.
Yeah, I forgot Ray also worked up in Edgewater.
It's so true. I find weird
saw
people because I'm weird. I'm weird myself, so like I really enjoyed it because I would meet some of the most eccentric people I've ever met in my life, and we would become friends because they're so intriguing. You know,
It was fun.
Well, some of them.
They tell
some
me their business. Yeah, some of them.
There's some other ones you just didn't want to talk to. So,
but here's the thing: sometimes you be like their only friend. You know,
yeah.
like some of these people
And
are like so weird and like they don't have any friends in their life, and you at the record store are literally their only friend. They come and see you every week.
Yeah,
hitting the dollar bin. You know, every week hitting the dollar bin. Yeah.
And they just want to talk
got a story
about the
on
music
that
they're
one.
buying.
Yeah.
The story on that one, there was a customer used to come through and I guess was going through the transition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he kept coming for, I would say she out of respect, because what she told me, it kind of blew my wig off, and I don't have much of a wig, but it was this $3.99 Janet Jackson 12-inch that he was nagging me about. It's like, I can't give it to you, but for $2.99 you can have it. Only for her to tell me that she had the surgery. So I'm thinking, if you can't afford this $3.99 record, what the surgery set you back? So she said,
you told her?
Yeah.
Oh,
you telling me your business? I guess you want an opinion. So I let her know. So she said her boyfriend paid for it, $10,000. But you can't get this you know, and you want it so bad because I guess she was principle.
She need to call her boyfriend
for me
up.
to run into her where? At Gramophone. But in the alley though, you know, coming out that alley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so but Edgewater, we'd get the tea, we'd get the stories on people's lives. I'm hearing about one woman tell us about a hysterectomy she just had, and you know, just everything, you know, but they would tell us because they felt free.
I don't know if you remember when Gramophone was at the original location and there was the methadone clinic that was down the street just by Diversity. And every Wednesday was the day that everyone came to get their methadone, and they would a bunch of them would come to Gramophone and they would just come in and listen to music on the listening stations, and they would stank. And I remember Doug walking around with Lysol, and he would just spray them and tell them to get out.
Yeah.
or the crazy Latin guy who used to walk up and down Clark Street, and he would ritually come into Gramophone. He would carry a cross dressed as Jesus, and he would come into Gramophone and he would walk through the aisles, and then he would walk out and then continue down Clark Street, and he would come by like every month.
He was blessing the store.
Yes.
But
yo, what about though the people who came all the way, spent all their gas money because it's like, I got a Beatle record. And you come there and be like, it's not worth shit. And then they're like, but I came here and I don't have any gas money. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like you just have to let people down. Like,
don't be
you know
gambling
the
on a Beatles record.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So with that was really speak to my point about it being a safe space, and drawing people of all walks of life for various reasons. And of course, the record store ended up being ground zero for party promotions. That's where you came in on your flyers. That's where you came to, sell tickets. We became so many things to the culture.
I'm sure, Duane, you remember, Duane, going to Gramophone as I did even before I worked there, of just being in that space, that it was amazing what a safe space that Joe and them had created there, that you had your hip hop crew with your gangbangers and they'd be buying mixtapes and buying hip hop records, to your white geeky techno dudes shopping with Josh and buying those records, to the gay queens that were coming in and they would see Derek and Oscar and buying deep house and disco records, to just all the different types of people, or even the people that work there, and Keith Ware, who would come out and start singing Divine songs and wrapping his shirt up to Daisy Dukes, and you could see the gangbangers looking and be like, what the hell is going on in here? But you always felt that it was a safe space to be in there and be who you are and not worry about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about the shift, though. One of the things that closed, that made, that caused Dr. Waxworth to close, was the changing of the times and the economy. And where we are now with this COVID-19 and everything else, and it's like, how do you even see? How do you determine how to navigate now with things changing so rapidly? I know a lot of times, especially with some record stores in Chicago, I remember we used to have these Japanese buyers who used to come in from Japan all the time. And spend and spend and spend. And they would come on these tours, basically.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands they'll spend on records. And because they could sell it over there for like triple.
And I know you had mentioned, with no tourism and now, and stuff like that, has that really forced you to go online more?
Yeah, I mean, for us at I don't know if you're talking to me, Duane, but for us at Gramophone, it's a blessing, and something that frustrates us. That, thank God for online sales of eBay and in the beginning, before Discogs and then Discogs, because your audience is 3 times, 4 times the amount of people in your own city, and people can find immediately. But at the same time, it's also made where the regular person can sell their collection, and it's taken away from that. I was at this one record store and I found this amazing record that I love for $4, and it's like, those days don't that don't happen anymore. That record, for every record store is selling their stuff online, and that $4 record could be worth $150, and you're not going to find that anymore.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, I definitely miss that a lot.
I miss selling music as well as finding those gems. Matter of fact, I found
he's reaching.
So you go to Ray's house on the west side. It's a museum in itself.
I can't only imagine what he has up in there.
Oh my God, he has so many.
I know he has everything. I know you have everything
between his years of him there. And
ooh, what is that?
This is Black Grass.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
$14.99. I found over at Old School Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
You hit a jackpot there.
Okay.
Knowing that's like the $20 to $30 record because Dougie Fresh uses, Special Ed uses. So it's a breakbeat. It's on the Ultimate Collection, one of the staples. So
yeah, the internet definitely
that's
changed the
one of
game in
those
that
records. I
regard.
remember finding what's that? Cool G Rap's first album, Gramophone, for I think $7.99.
Oh, wow.
Just and what I'm seeing music now. That record, they'll repress it, splash some color in it, and put it out for $29, $30 or
$30.
whatever.
Yep.
$30.99,
Yep.
and they'll double it. Make it a 2-piece vinyl album and everything. Maybe add some bonus tracks just to get you to say, I already got this album. Why do I need to buy it again?
Right.
So do you guys think, especially Angel, because Hyde Park Records was definitely known for its diggers following.
Yeah.
That's why the spinners and sort of become for these rare groove records that we used to spend $3 on, that we will find that because of digging culture and eBay and this stuff like that, this stuff is selling for $150, $200. Do you think that has made for more in the culture, especially amongst the DJs, like an elitist thing, if you will?
It can be like that because I notice like different types of record buyers. There's people who come in there, they just love the music, but then there's people who are like, oh, this is a business, and so you would have them customers that would come in and they flipping records and they not really into music. They really into just making money, and so I learned that part of the business too, like, oh, this is a real business and it can get real crazy because there's a lot of money to be made in it. And especially with the amount of records that we got were from the south side of Chicago. What that means is you getting all the black folks record collections.
Yep.
And there's the best shit up in there. You know what I mean? Like you getting Granny and them. Granny passed away. She got everything in her basement and it's coming into the store. So in so many ways, it was like, I felt like I was touching magic a lot because like, these were albums that people loved, you know what I mean? It had like this kind of spiritual aspect with all of these things, and they would come in with all these records and you looking through it. Most of it might be like some R&B that we already had too much of, but every now and then you be looking through there and you be like, ramp. Oh, and you can always tell. You're like, oh, there's more stuff in this collection. I know it. So you have to take your time and, and then there's all this like kind of negotiation. Cause I personally, as a buyer there, was really trying to be fair. I can't, I know how it gets. I don't know everything, but I know like I would have this kind of sensitivity to people who were coming in with their records, because a lot of times it was from a loved one, and it was a lot of things that wasn't just business, and it's
Buying
just like
collections was like being a psychiatrist.
Yes.
People are so connected to their records.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
like a loved one.
That's one of the things that we've been talking about here with the Chicago Black Social Cultural Map, because we have archivists as a part of our team, because people need to preserve. There's so much history, and like I said, Ray, I was hoping he had found it. He had kept a bag of record receipts starting from what was it, 1988?
By 88, yeah. Can't find it.
And as much as you would think that is like trash, but that's really that you can take a bag of record receipts from 88 to 2010, and that's a whole history of record store in the business and price changing and price gouging and you know what I mean, and just you can tell how the times changed and just with that bag of receipts.
And how the stores used to do them too. You mean like Gramophone, you used to have the person, you'll have a Derek Carter signed receipt that he sold you a record, or at Imports.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
To now where it's just on a computer and it's printed out.
Yeah, because that was the thing. Like we couldn't keep. I remember being a Dr. Wax, and this was like the era when neo soul was really really hot. And the Roots Things Fall Apart album had coming out same day as Mary J. Blige's 4th album came out. And it was something else that came out, and we could not keep up we were just handwriting so much because people were coming to buy these new releases and the handwriting. So I remember when we first called ourselves Digitized, and it was like a relief.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Brad Warner. I used to call him the overachiever because he did all the retail point of sales for I think the whole like Midwest or something. But we had him at Georgia, so of course we had him at Dr. Wax, in Edgewater, and I'm sure he was over in Hyde Park as well.
Yeah, he was in Hyde Park as well. He was the one that brought out system.
Yeah,
but that was the
Brad
thing
Warner.
about with Dr. Wax is that realizing that we really needed to jump into the digital age was very difficult. Was very difficult because our thing was such a mom and pop, hands touch, in person thing that we just couldn't really get ahead of the curve when it came down to technology and just all the other stuff. So yeah, I'm just kind of sorry. We just talking. I'm trying to look at the time.
That makes me raise a question on record stores now. A lot of them I go to, they don't have much personality as they did, let's say 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you said about the snobbish thing. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's like the business, but it's the business part of it. Like people all of a sudden see a market. Ooh, record sales are up. So now they want to kind of like pimp it again when there's been people who never stopped buying records, And I really don't think record stores will ever disappear.
No,
I just don't. They just won't. There's always going to be a record store. No matter how much of this information age and digitized, there's always going to be a record store because people are always trying to get rid of stuff. And it's a culture.
Michael,
everything is not available for download. And that's what I have to tell people. Everything's not available.
Yeah, everything's not available. Like there's some, there's a B-side on a 45 that ain't on YouTube. You know? It's not on anything but that 145.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of there's a lot, especially in house culture, there are a lot of producers who are going back to releasing their stuff vinyl only, or vinyl only release for 6 months and then the digital come.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's no money to be made in it digitally or physically anymore, because everything is now done by individual artists or small labels.
Indies,
so the big money is gone. So to put it out on vinyl for a little while and just make a few bucks and then make it digital and make a few more bucks is kind of what a lot of artists do now.
Did you see, Michael, did you see like when there was this quote unquote vinyl resurgence where you even start to see Urban Outfitters and these
little Crosley record players, everybody's getting one, like it's like a cool hipster thing to do. And they ain't really into the culture. I like what you said. I don't know, I guess we had a conversation, me and Duane, where he talked about Chicago being such a B-side cult, like rarities of music here. Like it's a B-side town, like you can only get certain stuff. That's why people all over the world come here to these record stores, because it's just stuff you're not going to get on Discogs, YouTube, or anywhere. You got to go to the record store.
Well, and you see a new generation of kids who buy records now who know that they can't afford those $150 records. So they're looking for those $3.99 records that are kind of cool, but not what everybody's looking for. And there's like a new like digger generation that is finding a new way of finding their music that's affordable to them, or when a repress comes out or something. But they're looking for that Diana Ross, the Paradise, that was the cool track, but nobody really knows it because nobody cared, but it's not worth any money. So it's like you have a new culture of people buying music now.
And the digging, like the dollar bin. People be sleeping on the budget section. Like,
listen,
you go up in there, you never know what you find.
Telling you, I mean, because especially back in the
It also
day.
The
depends on
dollar
what you
bin,
plan.
shoot.
It
Don't
depends on
sleep.
what you plan, because if you're trying to cater to, let's say, 35 and up crowd, we'll do a vinyl night, and I'm the old man or the oddball or the damn, what's that? Damn, where you get that?
Where'd
Oh,
you play? Yeah.
right. The first one you played, what was that? What was, and that's still the retailer in me for one. Buddy, you need this, you need this. When they playing let's say mid to late 90s, early 2000 rap and R&B and pretty samples and stuff like that, a bunch of R&B that, this regular surface stuff. And they might hit a couple of, underground cuts because the sample may call for it. But a lot of that stuff they find in the dollar bin, but it's when that one that I would say they need, they skip over because they don't know it.
Right.
So that's more for me.
So Michael, I know recently you had a run-in with the city.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
Yes, don't
what
get me
happened?
going.
That's not hard here.
Huh?
That's
Nope.
not hard in Chicago.
Right? Don't even get me started on that one.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, I mean, because that was one of the reasons. None of the reasons why we saw so many stores closing is because of things like that that you went through with the city, and how do you now, because especially in an area where you're in, that area seems to be still like gentrifying more and more and more.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky there to have, our landlord is a good guy. We have a good landlord. The city is, it's hurting for money, and they're looking for it anywhere they can find it. And they're also, I get the fact of transitioning from non-computerized to computerized, and mistakes happen, but sometimes those mistakes can ruin a business. And that they came after us and said that we, the sign on the store hadn't been registered, and that we had to apply as a new company, and like the total came to almost $5,000 to apply to, hey, I have a sign hanging from the store, when we've had one since we moved there in 2005. Then there was an issue with them with our saying that we didn't close our business space for our previous location, and that we needed to pay for license fees for 2 locations. And I had to go online and create an account and close the location so we didn't have to pay the $1,000 or so of fees. That it's just, we're in a time when businesses like ours are just barely surviving, and then to be hit with stuff like that just was extremely disheartening. But luckily, we have lots of customers, like everybody says, you've got your regular junkies, and they love our stores that they come to, and they're there for us, and they help keep us going.
Yeah, disheartening for sure. Because I mean, I remember we had to have a fundraiser. Remember, Ray?
Yeah.
Because of the things that we were dealing with between the previous owners of the area.
Yeah.
And the newness and the money increases that they were trying to get us to pay. We just could not survive. And then of course we went into, we coming at the end of, Bush, just tanking the economy, and
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a huge crash in the economy then too, and that did not help at all. And the fact that people, especially your store at the time, we had a lot of CDs, and people, we hit the first fallout in early 2000s, when people stopped buying records but were still buying CDs. And then all of a sudden the digital age has come into full effect, and they're not even buying CDs anymore. And so that really hit you guys hard too.
Yeah. Because we were.
Thing we could see, and Edgewater, the scariest thing was a pair of white headphones. that was death to the store. As they came in looking for stuff to be downloaded, of course, they try us out. You know, do you have so and so? We're like, no, we can order. We can have it by Tuesday. Never mind. I'll download it.
Right.
It was just that killed the 1121 beast, the big store, and we wound up going to the store up under the L, and then it got worse because it's like now we're seeing them get off the train with the headphones on, and they're not even coming in. They're just walking by. We're seeing them through the gates up against the window, and it got worse and worse as far as that. You know, trying to sell catalogs. You know, catalogs was the only thing that was really moving. Current music at that time, you know, it had kind of it really dried up on CD. We didn't even try vinyl.
Right.
You know, it wasn't enough space for it. And we just, you know, it was pretty much the end. And we tried to hold on as best we could, but those white headphones was murder to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy because I remember, you remember Ray,
Wow.
after we would be sitting in there, then in the window, and we would end up at the end of the day, we've had what, 3 customers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it got to the point
what
where
I saw at that time, the kids were hanging outside, and those were mixtape kids. So those kids, they were buying everything off of that Piff and and stuff like that. So we got a crowd outside, you know. But if we didn't have, let's say, at least whatever Lil Wayne mixtape was out at the time, they weren't coming in.
They weren't trying. Mm-hmm.
I remember one situation where we felt bad, but Michael Jackson's death helped us get through a month of sales.
Right. Me,
you know,
and
like
Kabal was there, and everybody was coming in. He's not dead yet. He's not dead. Just
That's
hold on.
true. It always felt bad though for anyone. Like when
like
Prince
that,
died.
every other customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
when celebrities died. Yeah.
We were standing online watching it, you know, and everything. It's like, no, we still got faith, but we got these thrillers that we need to get rid of right about now.
Uh-huh.
So.
And then you had all those customers that you hadn't seen in 15 years that were trying to sell you their Michael Jackson Off the Wall album, that it was going to be worth $100.
$100. Yeah.
You're like, there's about 10 million of these albums out there. No,
I've got a back stock of like 20 thrillers right now.
Ray, I don't know if you were there, but remember the day before Michael passed, right? We're gonna tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna end it. A guy came in and sold like 4 Michael Jackson CDs. Like he was just getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
The news broke. He came back. That guy came back the next day to try to get that stuff back.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
The nerve. Crazy.
And we were like, no, sir, those are gone. And he was upset.
See, I wasn't working in a record store during Michael Jackson's death, but I worked when Prince died. And it was that same effect. People would come in, they was just like, where's your Prince section? And they would buy the whole section.
Right.
Yeah, so I remember going into a record store over in Pilsen where Prince's first 2 albums, there was just nothing rare about those records, were $60.
Stop playing.
Yes, not
that's just like ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like Purple Rain for like $100, and you're like, dang.
Oh, wait a minute.
So anyway, because I know we're going on and on, we can do this.
You know, we got a lot to talk about. Yes.
I didn't know if there was any questions. I was trying to see if there were any questions in the chat that I should be asking for a Q&A. Still trying to get used to this thing.
I think it's like 7 of them loaded.
What?
I think it's like 7 questions or something loaded.
Really?
Oh, okay.
No, there's just 2. We talked about the forms of in-person music retail in the safe space.
Oh yeah, those 2 that came up. Okay.
Yeah. One is me laughing.
Right, show us the record bags.
The record bags. The history.
Ray.
Yeah.
You there?
I'm still here.
And I was saying, show us your history over there. The bags and carrying on.
Oh, the bags? Yeah. I mean, behind me is like a let's say a tenth of my collection. I got into this Funko Pop thing or whatever. So got everybody from Fred Sanford to Lil Wayne. So, well, yeah, we got rock records.
175 West
That was
Washington.
Yeah.
175 West Washington. Yep. This is from George's Music Room. These were the bags they gave you for vinyl.
Nice.
I have Loop Records.
Luke.
This
Yeah, I tried
got
to
to be
get
from
John Coleman for this too from Luke, but he's DJing right now.
Oh, that would have been.
yeah, and excuse me, a brown loop bag. This is definitely from the. I think this was from the 80s, about 89, maybe
Right.
early two. I think I made it to the 2000s there. And the quintessential record guide bag that had all the new and used spots on the north side.
Who put
Yeah,
that?
that needs to be preserved. Like seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, Record Exchange, Rogers Park, near North, 5210 South Harper, and 2529 North Clark, and the Record Exchange on Dempster and Evanston.
Wow. Cool.
And I know we all have some records with either a secondhand soon sticker on it, a Dr. Wax sticker, or a gramophone sticker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one. I think it's one a Just Ice record with a loop. No, with a Impulse Etc.
Wow.
Tag on it.
Okay.
Wow.
It's probably an Italo record.
No, it was a Just Ice record. The rapper.
Oh,
I remember buying my first Gangstar 12-inch from Imports.
Wow.
Wow.
Before they went to CDs.
Yeah. They moved on Milwaukee, didn't they?
They moved to North Avenue. They was like
Yep.
North Avenue and whatever that street. What is the street where Kingsbury?
Sheffield. Kingsbury and Sheffield.
Yeah.
Freddie Bain used to work there.
Yeah.
There was they were on the corner next to where they originated at first, because it was a large store
Right
of
on
all CDs.
Right. Yeah.
And then they moved to North Avenue and they started records again with CDs. And I think that lasted maybe 2 or 3 years and was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make it over there because I couldn't find it. And
that was
by
an
that time,
industrial area.
Yeah. Stacy was the last holdout employee there.
I still have his business card.
Wow. You still have Stacy's business card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Just want to bring it back. Definitely want to get with you guys on a more personal level and actually get, so to further document some of the things that you do have, because this is going to be, like I said, a map where we're, where things are archived so that we can tell the history. Nothing that we're keeping, but we want to encourage other people that if you do have anything in your possession of Chicago Black social culture from whenever, be it old flyers, be it old pictures of you in spaces, be it, just artifacts. We don't really realize just how much cultural currency we have in our homes. Old photo albums and everything. That a lot of things that get tend to thrown out and discarded that we don't realize is definitely history being told. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our channel too. And I want to thank you guys for being on this panel. I'm still trying to navigate what's happening here.
I think you left.
You stopped your video. There you are.
Oh, okay. I'm not the most technological savvy person. But yeah, so we got a lot more programming coming up for Social Culture Map. We probably want to talk to you guys again. We have something
Love to
coming up in a
participate.
few weeks. And I know Jesse De La Pena is on board, and David. I can't think of David's last name right now from DCase, because we want to focus a lot more on the Latinx side of culture. And so David Chavez, that's it.
Oh, nice.
And then we're trying to work on something in November to deal with lounges and spaces. And then December, we're hoping to have something really big happen. But we've been at this programming for some years, and we're going to keep grinding at it because our goal is to have our culture known, told, documented. There's so many intricate stories. Like when everybody talks about music culture, house culture, it's like that, it's always the same few spaces, the same few interviews, the same few this, and there's so many moving parts to our culture. And our culture did not exist only between this year and that year. It's still living, it's still going. And so we want to constantly, tell you guys story and keep, let it be known that Chicago has a rich and vibrant scene, culture, and all that.
And hopefully we'll come back very, very soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So until then, let's stay COVID safe. Subscribe to our channels, HoneyPotPerformance. Yeah. That's all I have.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was good to see you, Ray.
Yeah, I got to get up there and come back shopping or whatever. So hit the dollar bin.
We'll get you a new bag.
You know what? I got those bags are downstairs, the black bags or whatever.
No, we got some totes coming in. I'll get you a tote bag.
Oh, okay. I'm ready for
it. There you go. Thank you, Duane.
All righty. Angel, you gone? I think we lost her.
Yeah, she's gone.
Okay, guys. Great show.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Maida.
Thank you all so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Night.
All right.
Alrighty. See you. Nice meeting you again, Ray. All right, Duane, you trying to hit that button, huh?
I can't figure none of this out.
I'll help you